Hey, welcome to the stream. I'm your host, Cyberdragon, otherwise known as Peter, or whatever you want to call me. I'm easy. Hey. So today we're going to talk about something new that's been introduced by the lovely Becky from Education and Documentation. So let me get that one sorted for you. And I believe there is a forum post on it. So let me just go ahead and get that page. Here we go. So here we have a new, it's basically a series, video series. There's 8 videos, about 1 hour of tutorials, and basically this is meant to help you begin your game making journey. It covers everything from camera controls to placing blocks to even advanced stuff like creating multiplayer games and how that logic will work as well. So every week I'll introduce 2 of those tutorials, go through some basics of each of those videos, and answer any questions you may have in regards to the education side of things. Let me just make sure I've got the right links for you guys, and I'll paste it inside of the chat as well. Awesome, so here it is. Let me link it. Hey chat, OG, Shakespeare, how's it going? So here is the link, and that is to our documentation, and you'll be able to see this screen here. And this will basically go through the first one, which is playing and testing. There's a video here for you to watch as well. If you do click on the playlist, you'll see all 8 videos that you could watch, and we can go through that together throughout the streams. But this is a good first step for people that have joined recently and want to know how to do some of the basic things or some of the shortcuts you may not know about that will help increase your productivity, make things faster and all of that. But do check it out, and on our forum as well. I'll link it in the chat. If you haven't visited our forum yet, please sign up and have a look. We do share things, have discussions and whatnot in the forum. If there's anything you want to know or want to suggest, the forum's a good place to go, since the whole community pretty much checks on that, reads comments and gives feedback as well. And that might be useful for a lot of people. Awesome. All right, now to the task at hand. So I see Extreme Arcader is in chat. They have asked for a resource management question on how to implement logic for accessing different parts of the map. And when you unlock that map, you can pay in-game currency, and then doing so will lead to more income generation. So it's basically a resource management type of logic. And I'm going to go through setting up the currency, the generation, the spending, the unlocking, and then adding to the generation. We'll go through all that logic today, and hopefully you'll learn something. So thanks for tuning in. All right, first things first, I like to get rid of the grid. It's just an eyesore for me. First thing I want to show that's probably not relevant, but might be useful. This is the spawn point. This is where Avatar will spawn when the experience begins. You'll notice that there is a health feature, and there's also other things you can add as well. But just clicking on the health, you can see damaging and healing blocks. And this is the damage it will do when you stand on that block. And this is the heal that will happen when you stand on those blocks. You can assign the blocks here. So if you want lava to injure you or kill you, you select the lava block, and then you say how much damage that lava block will do. Generally, if you want them to instantly die, you want a high number here. If you want a player to have a chance to get out and have slow damage, you probably want something smaller. And I believe the damage is every second. And that's the same with healing blocks. So you probably want maybe something like grass or water or whatever the case may be that will heal you. You can put that there, and when a player touches that block, it will start healing them. So this is where you can find those settings for that sort of thing. All right, first things first. For a money generation game, you probably want to create the money variable. So we'll go up to the gameplay, click on the game rules, click variables, and we'll go and click this plus here where we can create a variable. And you have different variables like whole numbers, decimal numbers, text, time, and true and false statements. For money, it's generally whole numbers. So we'll go ahead and click number. And then we have global or local. So global is shared with everybody, and local is just for that particular player. You can have both, or you can have one. It's up to you. In this case, we'll just do global, since it doesn't matter in this example. And we'll just call this gold. And we'll click create. So now we've got a variable for gold, and that's where our gold will be stored. Cool. Next, we want to add an event, which is on player joins, and then we want to have a game screen HUD. And basically, when a player loads in, it will send a message here to wherever it needs to go, which will be HUD. So as soon as a player joins the game, it will show a HUD. And now we just need to add, I don't know, a variable here, which will be gold, and we can say gold, and whoops, and we can say if it's medium or small, we can have a little icon for it, so money bag to represent gold or money, and the value we want to display is a whole number, and the value is true. Progress bar if you want it to slowly go up, but that's good for experience points. But this will do for now, and then we'll just call this HUD. So when we're looking for our rules in a hierarchy, it's labeled correctly so we can go straight to it. So it's always a good idea to name your things as you go along. All right, we'll go ahead and click up here. So if we want to test a game in single player mode, you leave this as is. If you want to know how the game logic will react in a multiplayer game, you do need to click that so it's multiplayer. There is a difference. The difference being is a single player game, you can have single player and multiplayer messages talk to each other, and they do cross over with no issues. But in the multiplayer game, the single player behaviors and components can only speak to single player behaviors and components, whereas multiplayer behaviors and components can only speak with the rules system and multiplayer behaviors and components. They don't cross over in a multiplayer game. Just so you're aware of that. And now if we press tab and have a look, we should have gold up on the top, as you can see, and we're in our experience. Cool. That part works. Next, we want something that adds money. Now, in a resource management game, usually it's a passive increase, so something that just happens naturally over time. So what we can do here is add some math, and we can have add and subtract constantly, or we can just have math and we can have time. So we're going to add math and time. And we can also add add and subtract continuously. And we're going to check out the different methods here and what you can do with these. Cool. So with the math and the timer, first thing you want is a time variable for your timer. But what we can do here is say to start this timer, we can say start passive timer. And what we can do to begin that passive timer is one of these send message rules. So when the player joins, it sends a message HUD, and we can send it straight to this send message. And then we can send a message start passive timer. So when the game begins, this sends to the passive timer. And now we don't have a variable for time, so we need to create one. And it will be global. And we'll call it income timer. And the formatting doesn't really matter because a player is not going to see it. But if you did want to see it, you will need to apply it to the HUD. So you can click anywhere on a HUD, and then you can click the timer, and then you can see the timer. And when it hits 0, it will give you an income and then reset the timer. So here we go, duration, say every 5 seconds or every 3 seconds or every second. We can do every 3 seconds, and we'll send a message, add money. And usually with add money, we want to add a message argument to it. And the message argument will send that value with it. So we can say number, and we'll say gold. And when that message sends, we can send a certain amount, which is okay, but I'm going to add 0 here for this one. And add money will come here. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the variable gold. And what we're going to add is a variable for income. So we're going to go ahead and create another variable. And this one here is passive income. And this is what we're going to add, whatever is the value of passive income. And the result of that will be gold. So gold plus passive income equals gold. So we're basically adding the value of passive income to our value of gold. Cool. And then we can send a message after that's done, and that is start passive timer. Now this one here is not being used, but let's see this one in action and see if it does what it's supposed to do. And you should see the timer at the bottom and the gold up the top. And you'll see 2 seconds, 1 second, and 0. And you can see nothing's been added to the top. That's because the variable we created, the passive income, is 0. If we have 1, we can now add 1 after the timer hits 0. So you can see our gold is going up. After every 3 seconds. And if you want it to be faster, you just change the duration here to 2 or whatever the case may be. You can also use a message argument to change the value by sending a message. But we'll say every 2 seconds, it's going to add passive income for the player. Cool. All right, so now we also have add and subtract continuously. So if we didn't want to have a passive timer, we just want something that adds all the time, what we can do is start it with HUD. We can select our income passive timer. We'll stop this one from occurring. And the duration will be, say, every 2 seconds. We're going to add, I think it's gold. And the value will be, value change will be, say, 1. And the minimum value and maximum value can be whatever. Something like that, right? So now let's see if this works. And we're not using the time rule anymore. And you can see that the income is going up with the continuous rule. So to see that in action, we can delete this and delete the add money and even delete this one. And we should still see the money go up. So we got the one rule instead of the other one for this to work. So this one rule will do. There are other ways to add money as well. You can use a message broadcaster with toggle and all sorts of things. The value here we have is a message argument. And what we can do here is add money. And add money is gold. Or maybe we can say add passive. And we'll make that number and we'll call it passive. And the value change will be whatever the value we send with a message argument. We could do it every second if you want. And we got all of this happening too. So now what happens here is we need to send a message, add passive. We can do that with a send message HUD and add passive. Now this will do the same thing as we had before, except for every second it will go up. Or maybe not. We need to have a value there. It was 0, so it does take in consideration the value of your message argument, but now we have 1, right? And we don't need the timer at the bottom on our HUD. We can go ahead and get rid of that. And this is the rules we have now in order to do continuous passive. Now, a good thing is we can send a message add passive to change this value, or what we can do here is add the variable passive income. And this is the way to do it. And we probably don't even need the message argument here. So if we just do passive and passive, so all we do now is just change the value of passive income to increase it. And the way we do that is to have a math rule. And here we can say add passive, and we're going to say variable passive income add whatever the message argument is equals passive income. And that's pretty much it. Now what we can do is test this out with messages in the work area. So we'll go ahead and get our trusted numpad, which is not loading. There we go. It's just asleep. And what we'll do here is we'll put a visual aid and what we'll do is we'll add a volume trigger. And remember, it's a multiplayer game. It needs to talk to the rules. You need to use MP. SP won't work. And here we can have our detection to be a box, and we'll just do 1 by 1 by 1. So when a player walks into this area, it will send a message. The message we're going to send when entering is add passive. And the amount we want to add, we can say 5. And we broadcast it to the rule system. So now when we start our game, you'll see that every second our gold goes up by 1. But when we walk in here, our gold is going up by 6 because it was going up by 1. Walking in there added an extra 5 to passive income, and now it's going up by 6. We can go ahead and walk in here again, and it will increase even more by another 5, and we can walk in here again, and it will increase by another 5, and so forth and so forth. So you can see that we can use a single message argument now with a value to add passive income that will occur non-stop. And we'll just add a panel to show you an example of this in different ways. We can have a message broadcaster. With the message broadcaster, we want to make it so the player needs to press E on it, which is the interact message. We want to send that message to the rule system, and the message we want to send is passive. And a passive is 1, and each time the player presses E here, it will add 1 to the passive. And what we can do is Control D and duplicate this, and we can make this one add 2. And what we can do is duplicate it again and make this one add 3. And we can delete this one, we don't need it. So now the passive income is 1 per second, and when we press E on here, we've increased it to 2. This one increases it by 2, so this will make it 4 per second, and this one increases by 3. So now we have, what, 7 per second? So you can see we're using the same message argument, and all we're doing is increasing the value of passive income using this math rule, and this will continuously tick over and add to gold whatever the value of passive income is. And these are the 2 rules. That's all you need to make the passive work. Cool. Now, what happens if we want to spend money in order to increase the passive income? So you don't want players to just walk into an area to increase it or press E to increase it. It actually needs to spend something. All right, let's work that one out. There was a button here to snap to the ground. Is that still here? There it is. All right, awesome. Maybe there is a land in the sky and there's no way across unless you purchase something. And what we can do here is you can hold shift to drag upwards, by the way, if you're wondering how to build upwards so quickly. You just hold shift. So let's say we want the player to purchase something in order to connect these 2 islands. And in doing so, the player can get across and also increase income. So we're going to get this panel here. And now what we can use to add blocks is a behavior called multi, if it still exists. Yep, there it is, multi. And you can see with the green box where that block will spawn. What we do want is something a bit wider, something like that, and something a bit longer. So we probably want, say, 12. And we'll bring this into the middle, and you can see that fits perfectly. And what we're going to do here is the block that we're going to spawn is, I don't know, whatever the case, whatever you want. We'll just do cobblestone. And the message we need is purchase.1. So once we send a message purchase.1, it's going to fill in this space so the player can move from this island to that island and connect them both, right? And the player will start off with 1 per second. And what we can do here is we can add an indicator, and the indicator will be just a little message above the asset itself. And here we can say buy equals 10 gold, just for the sake of this exercise. And you can decrease the visibility and the offset if it's higher or lower from where the asset is. And you can have display over, so if you can see through other assets or if it gets hidden. if you're behind something. But if you press tab, you can see we got buy equals 100 gold. Awesome. And what you can do is you could use a bit of markup language to increase the size and boldness of that text so things are easier to see. You can even change color. So that was B is for bold, size equals and whatever in open and close brackets. We'll change the size. And then you can do color equals, and you can say blue. And now that color should be bold, big, and blue. Cool. Awesome. Now we do have a interact, and we do have add one to passive, but that's not what we want to do. We want to purchase area 1. And purchase area 1, we can go ahead and add or what we can do here, cancel. We're going to purchase area, and then we're going to add a message argument. We'll call it cost. You can call it whatever you want. That doesn't affect anything. And then we'll say 10, because we said in the display that it's going to cost 10 gold to purchase this. So now we need something in a rule system that checks to see how much gold we've got. And if it does, it will purchase this. And if it doesn't, it will let us know that we can't do it. We usually use the banner to let the player know if the purchase is successful or not. So I'll go ahead and save this, and we can go ahead and set up the banner. And I set up the banner like this for every game that I create. So it's a good template to use. All right, so this one here is going to be, we'll call this one passive income. And now we need to do a comparison. So I'm going to compare numbers. And what we're going to do here is, we'll zoom in a bit. We're going to send a message purchase area. And what we're going to do is we're going to compare our gold. And if it equal to or greater than whatever is in the message argument. So is our gold greater or equal to whatever's in the message argument? Then it will say purchase success. And we'll duplicate this one. And what we'll do is we'll have less than out of cost. We'll say purchase failed. So the same message is going to check to see if we got the gold that's needed, or if we don't have the gold that's needed, it will send out these messages. Now we want to send a message out to a banner to let the player know if it worked or if it didn't work. So the first thing we need is a banner. So this is the banner that pops up on the screen with whatever message is needed. And let me call this one local banner. And for this one, we're going to have a message argument as well. This one here, we're going to have text. So that's the text that's going to be displayed on the banner. And we're going to also add a number, and this is timer. And we'll go ahead and create it. So now we have duration, which is the timer. We're going to make it the message argument. So whatever is sent with the message argument, that's how long the banner will be displayed for. And the variable will be text. So we're going to create a text variable. It's going to be local, just for the player that triggered it. We'll just call this local banner. Text will be empty for now. Cool, and that can be empty too. What we need now as well is to set text value. Text value is going to be the same. It's going to be local banner. The variable is going to be the text value that we created. and the text that's going to be displayed is whatever's in the message argument. So when we send the message local banner, we set the text and how long it's going to be displayed. And we can send that from the rule system. So here we have failed text. And what we'll do is we will create it as a message argument. Failed text. And what we'll do here is we'll have a... Actually, we can branch off this. So what we'll do is we'll have send message. And from here, we'll have purchase failed. And then we'll have local banner. And that will allow us to add the variables we want. So we can have here purchase failed. And we can show it for 1 second. So now when we do a comparison of our gold and we don't have enough gold, it will send a message purchase failed, which then sends it to the banner and gives the value purchase failed for 1 second. And we can go ahead and duplicate this one. And this one here is purchase success. And again, we can just change it to purchase success and it will display it on the banner. That's with purchase area. So if we click E on here, that's purchase area for 10. So let's go ahead and see if that works. So you can see up on the top our gold. When we press E, you can see it says purchase failed. So we didn't have enough gold. And now if we press E, it says purchase success because we did have enough gold. But we haven't triggered the bridge. We haven't minused the 10 gold from our total. And this thing is still being displayed. So we've got a bit to clean up here. And the first thing we want to do is to trigger this is purchase 1. And we can toggle. And we can toggle this on and off. But what we can do here is purchase area, and then it goes through cost, and then purchase success. And to keep the same messages, you do need to do a few tricks here. So if you want to press E for purchase area, we can do speaker. And we're going to wait for the message interact. So when a player presses E, it's going to send a message, not to all, but everyone in range. So it hits our thing here. And then we can say message to send is toggle purchase 1 and everyone in range. So when we press E, it's going to toggle purchase 1. And here we will turn this on with the success message, purchase success. But we want to toggle it on only when it's relevant. So it's going to be off. It will turn it on when we want to press E on here. And we can say toggle off purchase. We also want to add a timed event to turn this off after the purchase is been, after the player presses E. So timed event. We want it to be repeatable. Toggle purchase 1. We'll toggle this on, and then after 1 second, it's going to toggle off purchase. If this is successful as well, we pretty much want to destroy this. So there is a way we can do this with plant behavior, but plant will always toggle on. You can't toggle it on and off. So we're going to add another numpad. Here we're going to add a message broadcast. We're going to add a toggle. It's going to be off. We're going to toggle it on with toggle purchase 1, and it's going to listen for the message purchase success. And this one here is going to be toggle off purchase. And when it's successful, it's going to send a message to everyone in range. We'll just make it 3, and that will be kill panel. And we can go ahead and put a plant on here. And this is the thing that will say kill panel. And that should be fine. So let me go ahead and save and check if this works. Alrighty, so we're going ahead, press tab, and if we go ahead and press E, purchase failed, we can press E again, purchase failed, and once it hits 10, purchase success, and we don't have, oh look at this, the panel's looking at me. It didn't really trigger anything, so let me go ahead and see what's going on. So we've got purchase success, and that gets sent out. We got purchase success. We got toggle purchase 1. Toggle purchase 1. After a second, it toggle purchase off. And toggle purchase 1 with interact. And purchase area. So it's not hitting this. We got toggle purchase 1. I just want to make sure that this is reaching that. Well, definitely, because it says everyone in range, and it looks like this thing is inside of the bubble. And that's with interact. We don't want to look at target, but you know that's working because it was looking at me. And we got toggle purchase 1. Toggle purchase 1. And toggle purchase 1, and that repeats, and toggle off purchase, toggle off purchase. This is not only once, is it? Nope, so it will keep going. Awesome. And this one here is toggle purchase 1, success, and toggle off purchase. All right, let's try again. It says purchase success, but it's not sending the messages out. Maybe because this is calculating faster than the message being sent to toggle things on. So we probably need a gap. And I'm just thinking, how do we put that gap in? So maybe the message here needs to be sent after send message. So if we go ahead and duplicate these two, we can say here purchase area and purchase area, but then I don't have control of the amounts directly, hey? So that's not going to work. What we could do then is, instead of a speaker, we'll get rid of that. We could have a volume trigger, and we don't need this timer. We'll just have the volume trigger be toggle purchase 1, and toggle purchase off. So it's a matter of walking near the panel. I think this might be the better way to go. And we'll just make this one the box of 2 by 2 by 2. So when a player walks into the panel, it will turn the things on around it. We can say everyone in range. We'll just say 7 by 7 by 7. And that should reach it, but we'll just make it a bit bigger just in case. Awesome. And now this message should toggle on the things around it without needing to use the message from that timed event. So now when I press E, that works. You can see it's destroyed the panel and it's added the bridge. So that works, and it's better to use the volume by the looks of it. All right, so that's good. We can go ahead and say no collisions and make that invisible. And when the purchase is successful, including here, we could kill panel. We could duplicate this as well and just say add passive, and we can add another amount of 1. So let's see if this works as intended. So at the moment we are getting 1 per second. If we press E, we're failed, and it's still 1 per second. Now if we press E, purchase is success, but it did not add the extra 1. So let's see where we've gone wrong here. Everyone in range, it needs to be to the rule system. So that's why that happened. So that will allow you to unlock new areas and increase passive and destroy the panel that you use to purchase. So you can see now up on the top, we've purchased this, and now we're getting a passive 2 per second. And with this, you can go ahead and select these, Control D to duplicate, and we can bring it all the way over here. And these should not interact with each other. These will be separate. Here we can say this will be 25 gold. So when we do a purchase check, we can do 25 gold. And when we unlock, we can add an extra 3 to our passive. And this one here will take us to the next area. Yeah, that's a bit too big. And you can see now that's going to now do the bridge. Now without even doing any extra work, let's see if this works. So we press E, purchase has failed. Now if we press E, you can see purchase is successful. We have the next one. If we press E, not enough gold, so purchase failed, but now we do. So when we press E, you can see that's increased our income, and now our passive is going up. The one thing we haven't done is decrease the amount once purchase is success. So we'll go ahead and do that now. And we have purchase area with 10. And if purchase is success, we don't have a message argument for that one. So how do we go about doing this? There's probably a few ways to do this, but we can say add passive, or we can duplicate this one. And we could say spend gold, and we'll make that a message argument, and we'll just say spend or cost, whatever. So the cost here will be 10. And if we duplicate this one and bring this over here, the spend is 25. And if we go to our rules, we can add a math rule, and that math rule will be spend, which is the message argument. And we're going to take our variable gold, we're going to subtract whatever is in the message argument, and that will equal gold. So that will give us our remaining gold. So now we're able to spend our money and unlock passive income in this sort of format. So we press E, and now you can see our gold has been spent and our passive has increased. Now we can just wait for 25. And we can press E, and there we go. We've unlocked, and now our passive is increased by a bit. You can use this rules that I showed you to alter your passives. So you've got the single messages required. You can just duplicate these because these are all toggled by range. And all you need to do here is just change the range it reaches. So when you're in this yellow box here, it will toggle on and off the things it should be interacting with around it. As you can see, it's not reaching the other area. So if you need things to be a bit tighter, you just adjust the broadcast area. Or you can do specific tags. So if you have things that are very close to each other, you could duplicate it, but then say specific tags in range, and then add tag A1, and the things you want it to trigger, you go ahead and add A1 as a tag. And what that means is if you have a duplication and you have something that's nearby, it shouldn't be interacting with this one, even though it's within range, because we are now doing range with a tag, and that one shouldn't have a tag. Did I have A1? I think I duplicated it with the tag on. So silly goose. I'll remove that and we'll test that again. Hey Carver, how's it going? Team Sebka, how's it going? And now you can see purchase successful, but it only affected this one and not this one over here because we're only broadcasting to a specific tag. And that allows you to do things where you could duplicate and change the tag from A1 to A2, and you can change this here to be A2, and then you can change the gold to be 15, and you can have 15 here. And now when we press so here I think it's going to wait for 15. You can see I had 10 and it still failed. And then when I press E, purchase success, but I did not have this one as A2. So silly goose, again, it worked because it deleted all that and it deleted the panel. But this just gives you, you can have a gap between the islands over there, and it gives the player a few different options. And even though they're all using the similar messages, we are differentiating where the messages go using tags. So I hope this is a little insightful for your creations. Now maybe you want more than one resource, as Extreme Arcader has said in chat. There are multiple machines and multiple resources and all of that, right? Cool. It's exactly the same thing, except with purchase area. All you're doing here is you're going to increase the message argument. So we can say purchase area multi, and we're going to make that a message argument. And here we're going to say number, and this will be gold. And then we have another number, and this could be wood. We can have another number, and this can be steel. And you can have as many resources as you want. Make sure you create it at the start of your message argument, because you can't edit a message argument to add more resources later, which is why I'm making a new one right here. Once we create that, you can see these are the resources needed now to cross the bridge. These can be 0 and this can be 10. And this will work just the same. You just need to go to the rules now and change it from purchase area to purchase area multi. And from here, you can change the message argument to be multiple resources. The spend gold will be the same, except you'll need to spend gold, spend wood, and spend steel. So I'll keep this here for a moment, and I'll explain this next part. So now we need wood and steel to cross. We don't want purchase success and purchase failed. Actually, purchase failed we do. If we check gold and we don't have enough gold, purchase failed straight off the bat. We don't even need to check wood or steel. But if we do have enough gold, we're not going to do purchase success. We're going to do check wood. And now with check wood, we're going to duplicate this comparison. And just to make it easier, I'll separate them. So this one here is check gold. So now if we have enough gold, we're going to check wood. And we're going to go over here and check wood. And now this is where we need to add a few extra things, right? Because we need to set something in order for the check-in to happen. So we're going to create a set number value. And I'll move these down. So here we're going to do purchase area multi. And we're going to set the gold to be the message argument. We're also going to duplicate this, and now we need wood. So that's another resource we're going to use. So we're going to go ahead and create wood. And that's going to add, sorry, bear with me one moment. And then we need steel. We'll go ahead and have steel. So this is gold, wood, and steel is what we're holding. Consider this our storage or our wallet. What we also need is a gold check. We also need wood check. And we also need steel check. And what we're doing is we're going to put the cost into our check variables. So our gold check, our wood check, and our steel check. And we're going to make sure we use the right message argument to store those right values. All right, so when a player presses E on this panel, it's going to say 10 gold, 0 wood, 0 steel. And it's going to go ahead and put them in to the checks. So the value of this gold, the value of this wood, the value of this steel. When that is done, we are now going to put a message gap. So we're going to go to rules and send message, and we're going to put purchase area multi, and then we're going to say check our resources. All right, so it's going to set these values, the costs, and then it's going to send a message to check. And what we're going to do here is check our resources. So is our gold greater than or equal to the variable gold check? And is it less than the value of our variable gold check? So basically now what we're doing is we're comparing our gold that we're holding to the value of the gold check here, which is the value of the cost, right? So we're seeing if we've got enough gold to purchase this. If we have enough gold, it's going to do wood check. If we don't have enough gold, it's going to say purchase failed. Next, we're going to do wood check, and we're going to see, is our wood supply greater than or equal to the variable wood check? And if it is, it's going to go to the next thing, which is check steel. If it doesn't, we need to have another fail. So is our wood less than the wood check, like the cost of it? If it is, it's a purchase fail. If we do have enough wood, we need to now check the steel. And what we can do here is we can duplicate this whole thing. And now we can say check steel. And we can say, is our steel greater than or equal to the steel check? And if it is, we can say purchase success, because we've gone through all the 3 resources needed in order to purchase this. And then we can say, is our steel less than or equal to steel check? And if we don't have enough steel, it will say purchase fail. So see how it now sets the value here, does the check one by one. So checks the gold, if enough gold, checks the wood, if enough wood, check the steel, if enough steel, purchase success. Now, if the cost is 0 and the steel is 0 for wood and steel, when it does these comparisons, this is automatically going to be correct because we don't need any wood or steel. So it doesn't matter what our value is, as long as it's not negative, it's going to go to the next one. So essentially it doesn't need to check wood and steel, but since the logic is uniformal, you need to have all of this. And you won't even notice anyway as a player. And so once the purchase is success, it will go to here. We can do purchase fail, or what we can do here is local banner. And a good thing about this one, we'll delete this. Doing it this way is if we have local banner at the fail of each fail, what we could do here is say not enough gold. And then we can display it for 1 second because we don't have enough gold here. Here we can say not enough wood and then have it for 1 second. And then here we can edit and say not enough steel. Now it's better to do it this way. So that way when the purchase is a fail, it will say on the banner what you don't have enough of. So that way it's not just purchase failed, it's not enough wood or not enough gold. So the player gets instant feedback on why they can't purchase it. There's no thinking involved, there's no confusion. It just tells you straight away, you don't have enough of this resource. And we'll go ahead and label this. And we can test this out now. The purchase success can be purchase success. It doesn't need anything else. So now we have multiple resources. And we can put this in action. So we don't have any wood generation, but we'll go ahead and put 1 wood. So now if we go ahead and test this and we press E, it's going to let us know we don't have enough wood, which is strange because it's supposed to do gold first. So let me go ahead and see, did I stuff this up somewhere? Not enough gold, gold check, wood, gold, steel. So not enough wood, not enough gold, not enough steel. Because our gold is less than the gold check, let me just make sure that it's 0. Yeah. It should instantly say, Yeah, wait, still check purchase success. Check our resources. See, I've sent the wrong message here. So check our resources is for gold. Then this one needs to be check wood. And this one here needs to be check steel. Yeah, because we sent that message to all the fails at the same time. It's meant to be one at a time. So now when we press E, it will let us know we don't have enough gold, which is true. You can see up and above, we don't have enough gold. Once we do have enough gold and press E, it's going to let us know we don't have enough wood. It doesn't show here we need wood. You can always add that in, there's no problems. You can also have a generation for wood. And all you need to do for that one is to get our passive. Here's our passive. And we have a passive for gold. And we got add passive, which again is just for gold, but we can say add passive resources. And again, we're going to add our 3 elements. So gold, wood, and steel, and click create. And we have our gold. If we want to add our passive gold, that's how we can do it. And this is passive income. So what we need now is passive for each one. So we got passive income. So we'll call this passive gold. And now we need another one for passive wood. And another one here for passive steel. And we change this to passive gold, and we're going to add gold based on passive gold. So this is the 2 that is passive gold. And we can go ahead and duplicate these. And now we're going to do passive wood, and we're going to add wood to passive wood, right? So we're going to add passive wood, add the amount that's in the message argument. But I thought I had steel as well. What happened here? I think I did incorrect message argument. So add passive, we'll just say stuff, because I've used the message argument already. And we'll try this again. So we'll have gold, we'll have wood, and we have steel. Now we click create, and now we should have gold, wood, and steel. Awesome. So that one here is for gold. This one here will be for wood. So for this one, we have passive gold, add gold equals passive gold. Cool. We've got passive wood, add wood equals passive wood. And we got an income timer. So every second we get gold. It's going to use the value of passive gold, and it's going to give us every second that amount to our gold. Cool. This one here is going to be the same. We're going to have wood. It's going to use the variable passive wood, and it's going to give us the value of passive wood every second. If you want something to be slower, like gold is faster than wood regeneration, you can just change the value to every 2 seconds here. And then we can duplicate this one. And this one here will be passive steel. And we're going to say passive steel. We're going to add the value of steel to equal passive steel. And then this one here will be passive steel. And it's going to use the variable steel. Now we do have income timer. This timer here cannot be shared and used at the same time as other variables. So in this case here, we'll probably need a timer for each. So we can say income timer can be gold timer. Then we can have another time, which will be wood timer. And then we can use another one here to be steel timer. Got to make sure that you select the time. So here's steel timer. And then you just change gold timer to wood timer to steel timer. And then you can change the gold here. So it is not going to be seen up on the top, but it can be seen at the bottom. So we're going to see our gold. And then we can see the next one here. And this one here will be wood. And we're going to see wood. And then the next one here will be steel. And we're going to see steel. Now we'll see all three resources when a game begins. And we can have our gold passive. Is set to 1. Our wood passive is set to 0. And our steel passive is set to 0. And we can use the message add passive stuff to increase the steel passive or the wood passive by using purchases of gold. So all of this is good. Now we have spend gold. We probably want to have purchase. We're going to change this one to purchase success or purchase success. And what we're going to do is we're going to go gold, subtract whatever the variable of gold check is. And then we're going to equal gold. So when we purchase success, it's going to take our gold, subtract whatever the cost was, the gold check, and that will be our subtraction. Then we can use that same one and say our wood is going to check the value of wood check, and that will equal our wood. And this one here is our steel, and we're going to subtract the value of steel check to equal steel. And once we purchase something, minus resources. Resources. There we go. And success banner text. All right. Now I know that was quite a bit, but now we should have all of this working. We're going to add passive stuff and add passive stuff. So for this one here, I'm going to say wood. We'll make it a prop, basic, and we should have a pile of wood somewhere. Where is it? I've gone blind. I think it's this one. Everything's loading slow. And then we can say steel. I don't think we have steel, so we'll just say rock for this example, but just pretend it's steel. And then we'll put this down here. So we can have collectible on this one, just for this example. Maybe you can have this collectible on the other islands. So when you unlock other islands, you can collect this. And when you collect it, we're going to send a message, add resource stuff. And we'll say we'll add 1 to the rule system when we pick this up. We also have wood over here. Or what we can do is duplicate this with Control D, and we can replace, and we'll just call it wood stock pile or wood pile or whatever the case. Well, I forgot what it was called already. Let's check it out. Wood stockpile. So we can go replace, and we'll call it wood stockpile, and then we can replace, and we can change it so it doesn't add 1 to steel, but adds 1 to wood. And that's it. I'll go ahead and save this and we'll test it out. Does it work for each player individually in a multiplayer game, or do you need specific logic? It can work individually as long as you make the variables local, not global. Global is shared with everyone, local is individual. If you just change the variables from global to local, then everyone will have their own resources, their own expenditure, and all that sort of thing. All right, so you should see our resources at the bottom. You can see we got passive gold, and if we press E, there's not enough gold. If we press E, there's not enough wood. So if we pick up our wood now, it should add 1 to the passive, and you can see now we're getting a small amount of wood as a passive. If we press E, we now have purchased our wood. Fantastic. Oh, there's some steel over here. Let's pick that up. And now we're getting a passive steel. So you can put multiple things down to increase the passiveness of everything. I'm pressing E here, it's not working. I may have changed something. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, that's right. Because I changed the message to purchase area multi, and this is still using the old purchase area. So you just have to change that message so it matches the rule system, and then you can put 25 gold, 10 wood, 5 steel, and it will let you know. For the actual indicator though, I don't know if you can put space bars, but what I like to do is have multiple assets and stack them one under another, so it kind of just shows them individually in their own row. And this one here can be, again, purchase area. So if you want if you want players to increase their passiveness, you can have an item and then put how much you want to increase it by. You can have a message instead. So instead of picking something up, they can press E, and then it adds that value, and then you can delete the asset that gave that value. You can have it like this, where you send a message to the rules to purchase it, and if it's successful, it can increase the value by, again, sending a message to the passive. We also have here spend gold. We have changed that now, so we don't need this message because we changed the purchase to these rules here. So we can go ahead and delete that one, and this one's not really needed anymore. So this one should still function just fine without it. But let's put it to the test. And we'll just make sure the wood disappears. Yes, it does. All right, so purchase success. We press E here. Not enough gold. We could pick this up. I didn't add extra to the passive. And the reason for that is because we also changed the message for that. So we got add passive 1, but we did change it to add passive stuff. So we just need to change this message here to increase the thing we want based on the purchase. So this thing may not increase the island. You can delete that. And when you delete that and just have this on its own, if this is successful, it will purchase and add gold. So if we go ahead and delete this one and test it out. So after we reach 10 gold, go ahead and check to make sure the message still works. You can see we're getting 1 per second, but as soon as we press E, it's success, and now we're getting 2 per second. So it doesn't necessarily need to open up anything. It could just be a one-time purchase to increase your passive resources. So there's a few things you can do with all of this logic. Just make sure you got the right messages here. I think for this one here, I have the old one. So we can just go add passive stuff, and we can increase it by 10 if we want. And if the purchase is successful, we can purchase 1 wood. So we don't need to have this wood here. What we could have here instead is wait for 15 gold. And once we purchase this, it will increase our passive wood income. So we'll just wait. We can see we don't have enough gold. And now if we push E, it's opened up a new area, and now we've got passive wood, and we've got 11 gold per second happening because we added a big amount for that purchase. And you can do that with tags. So again, I gave these things their individual tags, so they broadcast just to themselves. And we have a whole shop system. We have a message to let you know why things didn't fail. We've got multiple resources. And we got passives. So it's a little complex, but here's the end result. You can go ahead and just copy these settings. And you can just pause the screen to go ahead and check it all out. And I hope I explained this thoroughly enough. And one of the weaknesses in this method is that you need a timer for each of the passive incomes. And if you have a whole bunch of resources, not only do you need like a variable check, but you also need a timer for each one. You can bypass this, I think, maybe. And the way to do that is just to simplify it even more. So we're going to go ahead and delete these. And now you can see we don't have anything that's going to add because we've got no timer now. So if we go ahead and test that out. Whoops. That's an old alarm. I don't know why that's popped up. There's definitely no land sale happening. And you can see now that at the bottom there is no resources generating because we've got no timer happening. So another thing we could do is add a timed behavior or a message broadcaster. So message broadcaster won't need a message to trigger. We don't want it to broadcast once. We want to record duration forever. And the delay will be 1 second. And what we're going to do is we're going to send it to the rules. And the rules is going to be add passive stuff. So we're going to add passive stuff. And what we're going to do is add passive. Yeah. I think that would work, right? So we've got passive gold, add 2L gold equals passive gold. And I don't think we need to use this message, these arguments, but let's go ahead and press tab and see. It should just give you that 1 gold a second. It does not. All right, let's have a quick look. If I change this to 1, would that now give me my 1? Let's have a look. It does not. All right, let's see if we can do it a different way. We already have a working method. We're just going to now change it up a bit and see if we can take away some of the variables that may not be needed. So if we add passive stuff, if we got passive gold, let's check passive gold. It's the value of 1. So passive gold, add to gold. Yeah, so that's to add to the passive gold, but not adding gold itself. So what we can do here is Yep, we're going to put these together and we'll call this passives. And then we're going to duplicate these and we'll just call these additions, which is we're going to add to the rules. So we have our passive stuff and we're going to add resources. Add resources, and we're going to go ahead and do it to all three of these. And we're going to say the variable passive gold, we're going to add to the variable gold to equal gold. And we're going to add wood. So passive wood, add wood equals wood. And this one here will be steel to equal steel. Now we've got add resources, which then will tick. So let's see if we can go ahead and just change this to add resources. And now let's see if it just adds one as needed. Yep, you can see every second now we are getting gold. Cool. And that saves us needing to use 3 variables, which is the timer. So the wood timer we can delete, the steel timer we can delete, the gold timer we can delete. Now if we go ahead and test that again just to make sure it still works after deleting them, you can see that it does. So sometimes it's better to use behaviors and components in order to do the same functions to free up variables for other things in your rule system, because you've got a limit with variables before it starts lagging your experience, especially in multiplayer. So you want to transfer those over to behaviors and components that can take over. Now, if you want to add passive stuff, should still work. So we've got add passive stuff. We're going to add 1 gold, 1 wood, and 1 steel. So let's see if after 10 seconds, it will give us our 10 gold, and then we can purchase it and make sure that the 10 gold goes negative and then adds the extra things for passive. Not enough wood. Ah, that's right. We did say we needed wood for this, didn't we? So we're just going to change that wood from 1 to 0. So that's not really needed. And we'll test it one more time. So it's used our 10 wood, and you can see now every second we got other resources happening. And you can always add to that. And you can see now it's really increasing, and you can add that as much as you want. All you need to do, the timer is always going to be ticking 1 second. So you don't need to do anything with this one. And all you're doing here now is changing or adding passives. So using this message argument, you can add as many resources as you want. Bear in mind, you can do negative as well. So if you do -1 here, it's going to take away 1 passive from your bank each second, or decrease the amount. So you can have drawbacks as well. So if you have a chance-based event, and there's a 10% chance it can go negative rather than positive, you can do things like that. To do chance-based events, you do need to use an RNG system. So you roll a random number. You can roll a random number between 1 and 10. So 1 and 10. And you do need a variable for this. So we'll just call this number here RNG. And then you do a compare RNG. And we're going to compare numbers, and we'll compare RNG. And if the number is greater than 9, you can say bad luck. And you can do another one. And if it's equal than or less than 9, you can say good luck. Okay, so if you rolled a random number and that number happens to be 10, you'll get bad luck. If it's less than 10, it's good luck. So there's a 10% chance something bad can happen. And all you need to do now is send those messages to wherever you need. So here we've got a message broadcaster. If we duplicate this, and we'll get rid of the toggle, and we just say bad luck. And if it's bad luck, we can -5, -1, -1, and we can duplicate this with Control D. And if it's good luck, you can add 5, add 1, add 1. And the RNG system can be rolled with the message RNG. So whenever you send a message RNG, then you can determine if it's good luck or bad luck. And you can do that with, again, here. So we have toggle on and off, right? Using the tags. So here we got purchase success. If it's purchase success, instead of sending the message add passive, what we can do is duplicate this one. Actually, I'll delete. We can send a message RNG, and then RNG is going to be rolled. Actually, I'll delete that. And we're going to go ahead and add passive stuff again. We'll say 1, 1, and 1. We'll duplicate this, Control D and Control D. Now we'll send this one to RNG. The reason being is I want to keep these toggles. These will only toggle on and off based on the area of the volume. Because you want multiples of these in multiple locations, you need the right tags and the toggles for it. And then after RNG, we can say bad luck. And then it can be -1, -1, -1. And this one here can be good luck. And this will add 1. So after you purchase something, and it sends a message, purchase success will come here. And then it will send a message to the rules, to RNG. It's going to roll a number between 1 and 10, and it's going to compare. If that number is 10, it will send bad luck. If it's good, if it's below 10, it will send good luck. So then it comes over to these and then adds the passives based on the RNG roll. So you can have a bit of RNG element to your game by purchasing. You probably don't want it at the very beginning, because if you get bad luck at the very start, you've got negative income and then you can't progress. So you're going to have to be careful where you put this in and make it relevant, or at least not block the player from progressing if they achieve bad luck. But I hope this has been useful. I know it's a lot to take in, but what we created is a multiple resource check, a shop, passives, different ways to mitigate timers so we can free up resources for your variables. We've got messages to let the player know why they failed. We have setting of the resources. We have the local banner. Here's the passives. Here's the add in every second. And there's the minus the resources when it's successful. But if you have any questions, now is your time to ask before I head off. I will be back next week to do a workshop for the next game jam that's been announced. So do tune in for that. If you have further questions, I will be there to answer them and also show you some logic that might be suited for horror or scary type games or whatever the case may be. So do tune in for that one, and I will share some secrets and inspiration for some ideas for your game for the game jam coming next week. Extreme Akata says, can we spawn assets on same location by paying? Yeah, so Instead here we have a message. Let's go to the one that we haven't altered. So here we have a message that has purchase success, and it says the message add passive stuff. All you do is duplicate. And what you can do here is change the message broadcaster to an asset spawner. And what we do here is we can have the success message, purchase success, come here. We'll use a preset. We'll get rid of the only once, and we just do a preset to spawn it. So if we have like a wolf, all right. And this wolf might be the thing that would be given the passive income. So we can have a message broadcaster. It doesn't need to wait for message. It can broadcast only once. You can go to the rules, and here it can add passive stuff, and it might give 5 gold a second. And it will only broadcast straight away when it's spawned. And what we do here is we'll just call it 5 gold, and then we save it as a preset. We'll just call it 5 gold. We'll go ahead and delete this. And what we can do here is we'll spawn our wolf when the purchase is successful, and we don't want to add stuff here. We'll delete that. So now purchase success, instead of adding passive directly, it will spawn something from the preset, and that preset will give the passive. So let's test that out. So you can see at the bottom, we're getting 1 gold per second. We're going to wait for it to hit 15 before we're able to purchase this thing here. And once we hit E, you can see now the wolf has come out, and now we've got the 5 per second because the broadcast come from this wolf just once. And yeah, you can spawn things, and you can have timers to delete them. So if you want to bring out your preset, you can have here a timed event that doesn't need a message, and it won't reset, and it will broadcast all, and then say after 10 seconds, it will say kill wolf. And that will be, I don't know if this timed event will trigger the rules, but we could check that out. What could we do here? So kill wolf. We could send a message here to a speaker. And message broadcast, for instance, maybe here you can have it forever, every second. So we can go ahead and get rid of this timed event. And this will be the better way to do it. We'll get rid of the speaker. And every second forever, it will go to the rules and add 1. And what we can do is add, I think we can just add 1 directly to gold, or whatever the resource is. So we've got add resources, and here it's going to add the passive. But what we can do here is have another math. And you can add specific things by saying add gold, and we can do message argument here, and we'll say add gold and click OK, and we're going to take the variable gold, we're going to add whatever's in the message argument equals gold. So this one here is just going to add gold, and on the wolf we can say add gold, and we're going to add 5, and it's going to add 5 per second. And what we can do is we can have a plant, and a plant here we can kill wolf. And when we kill the wolf, it will stop adding gold to the rules system. And you can kill it with message argument, a timed event. of that sort. So here you can have a speaker, and it will detect an entity, and that entity can be in a short area, and it's going to look for a tag, and that tag can be wolf. We can put that tag on the wolf itself. Cool. And what's going to happen is when it detects the wolf, it's going to start timer, and that timer, it's going to be on the self, so it's only going to trigger that on its own asset and not anywhere else. And here we can wait for message, and it's going to be start timer, and then after 5 seconds we can kill wolf, and it's only going to send it to specific tags in range. So you can add a tag here, wolf, and that range, specific tags in events. All right, let's just say everyone in range, and we'll just say 4. The everyone is only going to kill whoever has kill wolf anyway, and that is this message here to get rid of it. So we'll go ahead and just give this one a little bit more detection. And this one here can sit near the asset spawner. And we will go ahead and save over this preset. And let's go ahead and check that out. And now you can see we're getting 1 per second. And now when we press E, it's brought out the wolf. We're getting an extra 5 per second. And then after 5 seconds, it should kill it. And it does. And now we've dropped back down to 1 per second. So we've got a short boost. You can have that as long as you want. And it's a good way to have something that is there temporarily and it needs to be maintained, and things of that nature. So I should use the same logic as the bridge to spawn the land. Yep. So here is just an example of how you can spawn something with the purchase. It could be a wolf, as you saw, from an asset spawner. It can be a whole island. It could be something else completely. You can send that message in all different areas to do different things, as long as it, the message system and the tag system works appropriately. But I've showed quite a few things in this stream. If you grasp the basic knowledge of it and how the message system works once events occur, then you can manipulate that to however you like. But you can see the purchase success message can do all sorts of things once you have the right setup. So I hope this has been useful. There is quite a lot of things shown in this stream. It's quite versatile, so you could use this in all different formats. And yeah, ride the wolf, as they say. But thanks for tuning in. And if you have any questions, just message me on Discord. I'm always there. And I'll be here next week again to do this all again. But thanks for tuning in, and have a great day. Bye-bye.